Hey, welcome back to our last topic in Chapter 4. We're going to talk today about how to write a standard form quadratic given x-intercepts and a third point. So if we're given the x-intercepts, we're going to, just like we've done previously, use those x-intercepts to create our factors. So in this case, x minus 2 and x minus 6. And we'll worry about that third point here in a little bit. So I'm going to multiply my factors together to create a standard form quadratic. And so I take x minus 2 times x minus 6. I FOIL that out. I combine the like terms, and I get x squared minus 8x plus 12. Next, I'm going to put an a in front of that and some parentheses around it and make f of x, or make y equal it. So I end up with y equals a times what the product of my foiling. So for that third point, we're going to pull kind of a well-used trick here, and if it has to go through the point 10, negative 16, what that tells me is when x is 10, y has to equal negative 16. So I replace y with negative 16 and all of my x's with 10. Now the only thing I don't know is my a value, which we're going to find soon enough. So I'd grab a calculator and evaluate what's in the parentheses here. If we do it the long way, we get 10 squared is 100, minus 8 times 10, or 80, plus 12, which is 32. So now I have a times 32 equals negative 16, and I'm going to get a by itself, so I'm going to divide everything by 32, and I get a equals 16, negative 16 32nds, or negative 1/2. So I'm going to go back to that x minus 8x plus x squared minus 8x plus 12. Remember when we FOILed our factors together, and I'm going to multiply each of those by negative 1/2. So watch the distribution here, because a lot of people miss this. I take 1/2 times x squared, I get negative 1/2 x squared, but I'm not done. I got to do negative 1/2 times negative 8, which is positive 4, and negative 1/2 times 12, which is negative 6. And now, finally, we have our answer. Boy, is it kind of a long, hard process here, but it is possible. So go ahead and pause the video and give the two practice problems below a chance. C is the exact same thing as B, so no need to repeat that one. And when you're ready, unpause the video and we'll go through the solutions together. So first thing I'm going to do, take my solutions, negative 5 and 4, and set x equal to negative 5 and set x equal to 4. And then I'm going to create my factors, so I get x plus 5 and x minus 4. And I can multiply those together, FOIL them out, combine the like terms, and if it goes through the point 228, I replace all of my x's with 2 and my y's with 28. So I'm going to replace all of my x's with parentheses and write in the parentheses 2. And then I'm going to use my handy-dandy calculator to evaluate it for me. And I get 28 equals a times negative 14. Well, I want a by itself, so I'm going to divide it. I'm going to unmultiply it. I'm going to divide everything by 14, and I get a equals negative 2. Now we're not quite done. We want to go back to this. We know it's going to be negative 2 times what I got when I FOILed, but I actually have to distribute that to every term. So negative 2 times x squared gives me negative 2x. Negative 2 times x gives me negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 20 gives me positive 40. One thing to watch out for, if your a value is negative, it's going to flip the signs on what you had before. So let's take a look at the next one. Intercepts of negative 6, 0 and negative 8, 0, and through the point negative 4 and negative 4. So I set each solution, x equal to each solution, so x equals negative 6, x equals 8. We can just see that even in the coordinates there. I'm going to add 6 to both sides to get x plus 6 as a factor, add 8 to both sides for the other one to get x plus 8 as a factor. I'm going to take x plus 6 times x plus 8 and FOIL it out. And then I'm going to combine my like terms. And then, and only then, I'm going to take my x value, -4, and replace all of my x's with parentheses and put a -4 inside, and replace my y value with -4. So if I evaluate this, -4 squared plus 14 times -4 plus 48, I just get a nice clean 8 times a is going to equal -4. I want to get a by itself, so I'm going to unmultiply by 8 by dividing everything by 8. And I get a equals -4/8. Well, we can reduce that. We'll make it a equals -1/2. And then I'm going to just write it out again and distribute the -1/2 to all three terms. So I get -1/2 x squared minus 7x minus 24. So kind of a lot going on here. If you've got questions, let me know. It's not necessarily anything we haven't talked about, but there's a whole bunch of things that we pull together here. And I hope this helps. And otherwise, we'll see you in the next chapter.